Think. Act. And prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Money Level Show, where we think, act, and prosper. This channel focuses on changing financial trajectories and building legacies. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with a friend of mine. She has done music with me in the past, and she lives in Argentina. And Argentina has been a major topic in many headlines as the new president, Javier Milei, who is identified as a libertarian and Austrian economist, has been elected president. And we've all heard the stories of inflation and what people are experiencing in Argentina. And so I'm bringing on a personal friend of mine that I've known for a while to speak about these topics. And so please enjoy this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and thank you all for tuning in. So Saeta, how you doing?
Hi, Daryl.
Did I say your name right? That would be terrible if I said your name wrong. Did I say your name right?
Yes, that's okay. Actually, that's my nickname, but my real name is Rocio. It's Rocio. Very Spanish, very well, Argentinian.
I didn't even go try it on camera. Yeah. I remember that. That's what your name was on Facebook, and then you went by Saeta, MC, and then we did some music under that, so that's your nickname. So gotcha. That makes sense. So how you doing today?
Fine, better, full of hope.
That's good. So I wanted to bring you on just to get obviously when we did music before, I didn't really know about like any of the financial hardships that happens in Argentina. And then it wasn't until like I started, really researching economics and inflation and understanding investing that I began to see Argentina come up more in the conversation. And so I'm glad to have you on. So what is this like for you all there? So I recently was at an investment conference, and I invest in a company that is a lithium explorer, and they are in Argentina, and they share a part of this area where I think Chile owns a part of it as well. And the person that worked there told me that their employees, who are all Argentine, y'all go by Argentines, not Argentinians, right?
I think you can say both are right, Argentinian and Argentina. It's okay.
And so he mentioned that they were experiencing 140% inflation, and every time they get paid, they have to go out and buy real goods. And so I just want to see, like, what does that look like for you all? You personally, and just the people that you're affiliated with.
Yes, we are not having a great time here. We get our salaries, and one day you can go to the supermarket, buy something, and the following day you cannot buy that. Things, essentials like food and also services. It's a real mess. People complain a lot. No one is having a great time here. Workers, many others. It's very difficult to live here because you work a lot. Many people here work a lot, and what you gain is not enough. And it's very unfair because sometimes when people have degrees, it's like, you imagine you will have a different type of life, right? Compared to those who do not. No offense, but sometimes it's like that. And even for the ones who study and have a degree, it's difficult. And most of the times, when you talk to someone who wants to achieve something in life or improve, that someone's dream was leaving the country, because there was no future here, no hope. Actually, one of my best friends, who is a teacher, and we studied together here. She moved to Spain because of this. She could not afford the rent anymore. And now I'm comparing her lifestyle to my lifestyle. And you know that we do the same things. We work, for example, the same amount of hours. And I never get to travel. I never get to go on vacation buying nice things. I cannot afford a car. Not you cannot think of buying a house, for example. And the one who traveled to Spain, my friend, she has a wonderful life. She's always traveling. Well, she bought a flat there, an apartment, and we do the same things, but in different contexts. It's so different. And um I know I'm smiling when I'm saying this, but because you have to laugh here. It's so sad that sometimes you have to. Well, now things have changed, but a bit with this new winning election candidate. But well, things here are difficult. This is a huge country. It's composed of many states or provinces, many provinces. You can even see in the last elections that more than half of the country are not having a great time, and that's why they chose a different path. They believed in a change. And well, going back to the inflation, that's the main reason. Maybe that's the main reason. You open your fridge and you cannot find anything. It's empty. It's very sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, that's rough. I imagine many of the people there are doing more kind of communal living, like family, everyone coming together, pitching in resources. What does that look like?
Yes, you mean helping each other. And yes, in the last years, the last 3 or 2 years, something happened as regards housing. It's like you cannot, young people, you cannot dream of leaving your parents' house because you cannot afford the rent. You cannot, and it's like you end up living with them. I live in here. Well, my father does not live here. He left me this house. He's living somewhere else. But if I had to do it, well, but that's one of the examples I'm trying to give, that it's very difficult here for young people, and that's why many young people chose to leave the country. Um, but yes, it's difficult. It's difficult here. Um,
Yeah. These are like some of the stories we hear about. Whenever like people that watch this channel, or when we study like Germany and just hyperinflation in Zimbabwe and other nations. But we've experienced inflation here. I mean, it's obviously hit everywhere. I mean, since the pandemic, like we had a lot of money printing, which devalued a lot of currencies around the world. But
exactly.
It's nowhere to the degree of that, where you one day you go to the market, you can afford something, and then the next day you go, there's no guarantee that you can afford that same item.
Right.
hmm So,
Right.
so I was kind of wondering about. So you mentioned that it's hard for young people to even move out of their parents' house. What How are people storing value there? Like, are they as soon as they get their paycheck, they have to get out of the Argentinian peso, or like, or do they go and try to? Are they buying gold? Are they trying to buy like other things to kind of hold some type of value in their money?
Mm. Gold, we wish, but but no way, not even dream of it, never. But I'm speaking about average people here. Yes, I'm talking about them. Well, as regards that, well, I don't know what to call it in English, but there's something called plazo fijo. I cannot remember the English for that. I'm going to look for the term. I'm sorry. And some sorry.
How would you explain it?
It's storing your money in a bank account, and they keep it, and then you will have the money will increase. I don't remember the name.
It's like a bond. Is it like a bond or something like that? Like a bond or some type of certificate of deposit, or where they give you interest on your money?
Yes, fixed term. Yes, fixed term deposits. That's what you said, right?
I said it's a little bit different, but it's same thing. Same thing. Yep. So we have like bonds, we have certificate of deposits, we have where people can either buy government debt and government pays you back interest, or the banks can pay you back interest based on deposits and such. And so so it sounds like people are able to put their money there to get some type of interest on it. But it may seem like kind of, do you think it's do you feel like that's worth it with, I mean, because you have something like, and let me know if I'm talking too many big terms, but you have what's called like real interest rates, which is like, say like you put money in a fixed term deposit and you're making 5%, but then you have inflation at 140%. That means that you're a negative 135%, so your money's still being decreased while it's sitting there, because like it's probably not going to be worth the same amount. So is that like, what's the percentage rate on that? Do you know? Or
not precisely, but I'm going to tell you, some do that, these term deposits, but it's the silliest thing they can do. I know those are the only resources that we have. And of course, it's very criticized because of what you're saying. Some say you're going to use a term deposit. Well, you're a fool. You cannot actually save money. You cannot. The other way, let's say, listen to this one, is buying American dollars. But the thing is that here you have to pay a lot of taxes, and there is actually a limit imposed by the government, by their policies, let's say, and you end up paying so much money that it's almost impossible. It's like we cannot save money, we cannot invest money, because if we save the money loses, well, the currency loses the value, right? And it's not worth the same thing. As you were saying, well, it's actually a problem. I cannot tell you precisely the rate, actually,
yeah. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I get your point.
Yeah, I just know they're probably not paying 150% so that you get a positive return. Like, that's highly unlikely.
Totally. It's many people make fun of those who do that. I know some people do that, but it's very criticized. And the other alternative was buying American dollars, but it's very difficult. It's so difficult. You end up paying many taxes. Taxes here are everywhere. You want to do so? We pay taxes even for working. So, well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have to. I have to definitely. That was really good that you said that. Like, buying gold, like, people dream of it, right? Because here, in the U.S., we've been seeing like the gold price right now. It's like close to $2,000 an ounce, which is close to its all-time high. But we've been hearing about in other currencies around the world that gold has already passed its all-time highs, because like gold versus those currencies that are like being depreciated in value is significant. So like, in your situation in Argentina, the currency is being devalued so much that gold is very, very expensive. That's what I'm hearing.
Paradise. That's paradise for. That is paradise. Appreciate that, Daryl. Please enjoy.
Wow, it's crazy because sometimes like we just don't know the how privileged we are. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Oh.
it's very. I'm glad we're having this conversation because it's really challenging me as well. I think about things like in terms of our central bank, printing so much money and our government spending so much money and stuff, but still like, compared to like the situation that you all are going through, like you all like probably dream of being in a situation like I'm in now, and so it definitely puts a lot of things in perspective.
Yes, we know that you work a lot. You sacrifice many things. We know that you're a nation who you work. You're very hardworking people. You build your country. You are an example. We are so far from that, but we have our history, our beautiful history. But actually, for us, well, hearing that for me, well, this is wow. It's great. It's great.
So I was thinking about um, the so you have obviously the inflation dynamic. Now you all have elected a new president who wants to strengthen ties with America, wants to dollarize the country, and I don't know the full political structure. Like if y'all have like something like a representatives or Congress or Senate that has to kind of vote with the president, or the president has to. Obviously, the president usually can't just come in and make all these decisions, but it just kind of depends on the political structure that you all have. Here we have a lot of checks and balances, but he mentioned a lot of things. I watched a recent interview from him, and he mentioned like many of the elite taking a lot of the country's gross domestic product, and I think it was like 5% of the gross domestic product, and pocketed it in themselves. And he wants to eliminate. It seems like he wants to eliminate a lot of the corruption of that comes at the expense of the regular people. Is that how you all feel down there?
Yes, totally. Let me give you some examples. You mean, sorry, because sometimes my Wi-Fi signal uh, is working very bad and I cannot follow the whole things that you're saying. But did you mention, uh, sorry, something about corrupt politicians? About
The
ah,
elite that
mm,
are taking the purchasing power, taking the money, pocketed themselves at
yes,
the
yes.
expense of the regular people. Yeah.
There are many examples. I can give you many examples. And for instance, politicians who travel abroad and have holidays in paradises in Europe and traveling in yachts, and it's they cannot actually uh, say that I have earned that all that money, I have gained earned all that money, and I can afford that. And something, so what, people see that, and some people still vote for them. It's well, you can jump to conclusions on your own now, but uh, well, many people see that and still vote for them. And of course, there are, maybe the fact that many presidents here have been under trial because of this, and they still run um, for some political spots, and people vote for them. So this is common for me to talk about, and because you can see the evidence in front of your eyes. It's like you sometimes you walk down streets, Daryl, and you see that there are big I don't know how to call it, announcements about the government is going to build a hospital here, for example. And 2 3 years pass by and there is no hospital. You will only see the sign, and that's it for forever. That is so
Wow.
common. It's so sad because we're well, the in the announcement that you see with the government has spent 6 million pesos in the, and you think all that money now is everywhere. And but well, they they did some things, they worked, but of course was done, and that is not enough, um, of course. But yes, it's I think, I don't know about other countries, but I think this one is a champion in that sense, in uh, filled with liars, not actually politicians, right? And it's a whole thing. But believe me, people support them. Some people support them. Some people still vote for them. It's, well, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Here, but
Yeah, that's very I mean that's common here, you know, as well, but obviously it impacts us taxpayers, you know, and things of that nature. I mean, our debt levels, we have I think we have the most debt in the world. I mean, we have going on $34 trillion in debt. Our government runs a budget deficit of 1.7 trillion, and so we're spending more money than we have. But we're also like the world reserve currency, so it doesn't affect us, you know, to the extent that it affects other nations until it does, you know. So like I think at some point the chickens come home to roost, you know. But right now we have time, and so we definitely have politicians that you know, that pocket money and all these. I mean, even every time we have an election, I mean, all these corrupt behaviors are coming out, and it's pretty interesting. So like you all, you know, just before we get to the election piece, with the inflation you all are experiencing, what was it like pre-COVID, post-COVID? Was it better before the pandemic, and or was it like and worse after the pandemic, or is it the same since before and after?
let me think about that. I think that um, it has always been the same, but after the pandemics, it was, yes, it was worse. It was worse, and yes, yes, totally, totally.
Did,
It
did
has
y'all
always.
did y'all go through any lockdowns and things like that during that time?
Yes, we had a lockdown for almost from March to November, I think. From March to November, and it was a lot. It was a lot.
How were you all able to take care of like your bills? Like, did they freeze like the landlords from being able to like charge you rent, or like how were you all still able to take care of like your daily needs while being on lockdown? Or were you all still working, or what was that like?
As a teacher, I used to work online, so it was different for me. But for example, hairdressers, I don't know, people who work in the streets, and um, well, many people, they received uh, a state welfare. Is it a kind of help? Yes, and during the lockdown, m- many people received many of those welfares, right? Um,
We had that here too. Um, we have what's called unemployment benefits. So a lot of people got unemployment. We had stimulus checks go out. We had you know, a lot of other ways that the government printed to help out the people. Um, so now the transitioning to the election. So it's kind of interesting because here we get news articles that call Javier Milei a right wing, that means like you have liberal and conservative, right? So many of the liberals are considered left wing, and then you have the conservatives, or they're considered right wing. So like a Trump supporter would be a right wing or those who stormed the Capitol. I don't know if you saw that on news or what with the U.S. Capitol a couple years ago. That would be considered a right wing. So you have these news articles. They're calling Javier Milei a right wing libertarian. And so, it's kind of interesting because this is like United States media, which I don't trust at all. I don't trust the media here to give a non-biased narrative. So what does the sentiment like with the Argentinian people and the new president? So it seemed like there was a runoff election and it was close. I think he won by 10% or something like that. What was that like? Was it polarizing there? Was it like, were people arguing about it? Like, what was that like there?
Many people fight over this matter. uh, all the things I mentioned before, the things about constructions and welfares and inflation. Well, all these factors, of course, pissed people off. People got really sick and tired of these things, and well, they voted for something different. And as you were saying, something about the left and the right wing. The thing is that, well, Argentina was always friends with, let's say, Venezuela, um, let's say, countries that have a different political doctrine, and but
Like
now
more socialist, communist type. Was he like more socialist, communist?
Exactly.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
Exactly. And we never heard of investments, and we were like, let's say, isolated from the whole world. And now when Javier appeared, by winning elections, now the U.S. Trump congratulated on him. People from other countries see us as, it's like you made the right choice. You made the right choice. Even Elon Musk tweeted something about that's how the world sees Argentina, right? But here in Argentina, some people are crazy about these results. They ended up hating Javier Milei. They are you geniuses. You voted for him. Now you have to handle with all of his decisions. You are the worst. You are the awful things. And it's crazy because here it's a heated, let's say, atmosphere. But outside this country, it's like the whole world sees as you Argentinians made the right choice. You're doing it right.
So you're saying that you're talking about how we see it from the outside versus on the inside, and you're experiencing a lot of hatred, or people are like, oh, you're gonna get what you deserve, you're gonna see what happens, things like that. And then you were saying something else after that.
Yes, but going back to the question, am I answering your question?
Yeah. You're
yes.
answering the questions. Yeah, you're answering them. Yes, you're answering them. So I was wondering about, so like, obviously, people, are upset about the outcome of the election, which we had a lot of upset people. That's why we had our January 6th event that happened 3 years ago, going on 3 years ago, when Joe Biden got elected.
Yes.
And so, but it's kind of interesting in your situation because, Argentina has went through multiple debt crises, multiple hyperinflationary periods, defaults, government defaults, and it just seems like it's obvious that what's been happening hasn't been working, and so you have to try something different. And so is that pretty much where you're at with that?
Yes, Yes, because same faces over 40 or 16 years, the same ones. All, and we are always in the same place, never um, improving, and there was no improvement. And that's why many young people were leaving the country. If I, well, if I could, I would. Maybe I used to think that, but you had to have money for that. And we do not have enough money, and but yes, it's like that. Um, it's different. It's different.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, I think that's well, not that's not all the questions. Actually, I do want to talk about um, Javier's plan to dollarize the currency. So the Argentinian peso has lost a lot of value. What do you think about being on the dollar standard where you're able to use the U.S. dollar?
Um, Javier explained. He was very clear about this. He's explained that many times. People started to open their minds as regards this new idea, because the problem was always central bank and printing and printing, printing, and never stop printing bills. And sometimes finance ministry was like, we're going to give you a new welfare, let's say, a new help, but and then printing begins again. And what happens next? Inflation comes. And that was the problem, let's say. And so that's why, well, he suggested, well, he proposed this plan. And sometimes it's for us, well, we think that, I think that, well, it's better. There will be a control over this. They won't do the same thing. I mean, those politicians who used to do that all the time. And it's safer. It's safer. um, I would love to see that day. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think things will change for the best if that happens. But that's my opinion, of course. But I think that it will be more transparent, let's say. Um, and many people support this idea because of this. It's all because of politicians who steal, right? It's all, many people voted for this for that reason only, because they got tired of being robbed, let's say, and all this printing and printing and
Yeah, there's this is like I really enjoyed like hearing him talk because like he's saying a lot of stuff that I understand, things that I don't understand, but he's very knowledgeable, about economics. And so oftentimes when we hear like our president talk, he's not talking at the level that Javier was talking about. So it really intrigued me,
Mhm.
just like, oh, wow, like he's actually talking about addressing the problem. Like he wants to reduce government. He wants to reduce government and get rid of the central bank. And so we haven't had anyone talk like that since probably I mean, Donald Trump did when he kind of said some similar things when he first got elected. But Ronald Reagan, that was back in the 80s when he wanted to reduce government and things of that nature. And so, it was refreshing to hear Javier talk about that. Pretty much, I mean, that's all that I wanted to have a conversation about. I don't know if you have anything else you would like to add or any further thoughts, but I know you're not like an economist or whatnot, but I appreciate you uh, jumping in, having this conversation with me so that we can hear a perspective of someone that is on the ground, that is there in Argentina and is experiencing um, the inflation, you're experiencing the election and the hope that's come from the election, the hate that's come from the election. Like you've experienced all that. And so I don't know if you have anything else to share, but I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Daryl. Yes, something I was thinking about, as you mentioned about, you said something about Javier's different from your president, and he's like knowledgeable of economics, right? And the thing is that here in Argentina, we never had a president, never, who knew about those, who knew about economics or spoke about economics. Never. It was always different. So we are thinking of this in the sense that, well, this, how to deal with these issues that are, it's something new. He's so different. He's so different. But his image, he looks like a crazy person, but we think that that's a character to catch people's attention. I don't know if you saw he sometimes he uses a chainsaw.
Yeah, I saw
A
that.
chainsaw, a big chainsaw. He's crazy, but sometimes he's very hysterical. But Daryl, you know what I think about that is that many of the Argentinians feel that inside. They are very angry. They are very angry. It's sad, but it's the truth. And most of them have reasons to feel that way, and have reasons to choose something different from what we have always seen and we have always lived. But well, thanks a lot for inviting me. I know I'm just an average woman here, and well, one of the sides here, because there are types of supporters, and well, in my case, I am very happy to see these changes. We are full of hope. People are full of hope here.
That's good. That's good. Well, my friend, I really thank you. Appreciate you for coming on. I know the the internet would be spotty at times, but it's just good to even just hear just a perspective from someone from Argentina to share on these topics. And so I just thank you for coming on today. And for those in the audience that would like to pitch in, I'm going to send a care package, and I will leave some instructions in the description below in terms of, some precious metals or something of that nature to be able to send to my friends. So I want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you very much for asking for this interview. It was very interesting and very enriching for me too, and hearing what you live there in the US. Because of course we admire your country. You as Americans, we admire you a lot. We look up to you. And well, thanks a lot. It's nice because I can open my mind to new things and well, new experiences. And well, thanks a lot for this. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.